Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to learn about the muscles of mastication. So there are four muscles of mastication. Those are masseter, temporalis, lateral pterygoid and medial pterygoid. So these four muscles we are going to study each and every detail about it. That is the origin, insertion, nerve supply and action. So before starting with each one of this, let me tell you the two common things in the muscles of mastication. All are supplied by the mandibular nerve. Mandibular nerve is the branch of trigeminal nerve. The next common thing is these muscles of mastication have the common insertion, that is the mandible. So let's start with the masseter muscle. Masseter muscle is quadrilateral in shape and it covers the lateral surface of the ramus of mandible. The next point is the origin of masseter muscle. So there are three layers: superficial layer, middle layer and deep layer. Okay, so these layers, which we also call them as fibers, superficial fibers, middle fibers and deep fibers, which forms the masseter muscle. Superficial layer originates from the anterior two-third of the lower border of zygomatic arch and it runs obliquely downwards, making 45-degree angle. Okay, so this was about the superficial layer of the masseter muscle. So next is middle layer. Middle layer originates from the posterior one-third of the lower border of zygomatic arch and it runs vertically downwards. Okay, so the third layer is deep layer. Deep layer originates from the deep surface of zygomatic arch and these fibers run vertically downwards. So these are the three layers, which is superficial layer, middle layer and deep layer. If we talk about the origin of these three layers, those are: superficial layer originates from the anterior two-third of lower border of zygomatic arch. Middle layer originates from the posterior one-third of lower border of zygomatic arch. And deep layer originates from the deep surface of zygomatic arch. These are all the simplified things which I have told. So here we derive the common thing, that is origin of the masseter muscle is from the zygomatic arch. Okay, so now we'll move on towards the insertion. Insertion of the masseter muscle lies in the ramus of the mandible. Okay, as we have discussed about the origin in three different layers, we are going to speak same thing about the insertion in three different layers. First is superficial layer. The superficial layer is inserted into the lower part of the lateral surface of ramus of mandible. The middle layer is inserted in central part of the ramus of mandible. And deep layer is inserted in the rest of the ramus of mandible, that is the remaining part of the ramus of mandible. Now we'll move on towards the nerve supply of the masseter muscle. Masseter muscle is supplied by the masseteric nerve, which is the anterior division of mandibular nerve. And last is the action. So masseter muscle helps the mandible to move in upward direction as well as in forward direction. So this was all about the masseter muscle. Let's study about the temporalis muscle. Temporalis muscle is a fan-shaped muscle filling the temporal fossa. We all know what temporal fossa is. If suppose this is a zygomatic arch, above the zygomatic arch there is temporal fossa and below the zygomatic arch there is infratemporal fossa. Okay, so the origin of temporalis muscle. Temporalis muscle arises from the temporal fossa and temporal fascia. So I'll give you the diagram on the screen so that you'll understand what is temporal fossa and temporal fascia. Okay, so now the insertion. The temporalis muscle is inserted into the margins and deep surface of the coronoid process. So this is the condylar process and this is the coronoid process. So temporalis muscle is attached to the coronoid process, deep surface of coronoid process, the margins and the anterior border of the ramus of mandible. So this temporalis muscle extends up till the last molar teeth of the mandible. As we have studied in masseter, there were three layers, that is superficial layer, middle layer and deep layer. Those layers were nothing but the fibers. Same thing in the temporalis muscle. There are three fibers. Those are anterior fibers, middle fibers and posterior fibers. Anterior fibers, they run vertically. middle fibers run obliquely and posterior fibers run horizontally. Okay, so now let's study about the nerve supply of the temporalis muscle. It is supplied by the two deep temporal branches of the anterior division of the mandibular nerve. So let's move on towards the action of temporalis muscle. Temporalis muscle elevates the mandible. Posterior fibers retract the protruded mandible. So, for example, if the mandible is protruded, this temporal muscle helps in the retraction of protruded mandible, that is to move in backward direction. And third point is it helps in side to side grinding movement. Okay, hope that's clear. So this was about the temporalis muscle. Now we'll study about the lateral pterygoid muscle. So now let's discuss about the lateral pterygoid muscle. Lateral pterygoid muscle is short and conical muscle. It has two heads, upper head and lower head. Similarly, we have seen in masseter. Masseter had three kind of fibers or three layers. Those were superficial, middle and deep. Also in temporalis, there were three fibers. Those were anterior, middle and posterior. In the same way, in lateral pterygoid muscle, there are two heads, upper head and lower head. So first let me explain about the diagram. Okay, so this is the mandible. I have not drawn coronoid process completely to make better understanding. So this is the condylar head, and above the condylar head there is glenoid fossa, and in between condylar head and glenoid fossa there is articular disc and the articular capsule. Okay, so this is the temporomandibular joint, and this is infratemporal bone which is part of the greater wing of sphenoid. So the upper head of the lateral pterygoid muscle originates from the infratemporal surface. That if suppose this is my infratemporal bone, from the surface this muscle is going to originate, and on the infratemporal crest, this is the crest. So I hope it's clear. Okay, so the upper head originates from the infratemporal surface and infratemporal crest of the greater wing of sphenoid bone, and lower head originates from the lateral surface of lateral pterygoid plate. For example, if this is my mandible and here is my lateral pterygoid plate, so this muscle is going to move laterally, right? This muscle, and this is the lateral surface of lateral pterygoid plate. So the muscle is going to move from lateral surface of lateral pterygoid plate to the condylar part. Okay, so now let's see the insertion part. So the upper head of the lateral pterygoid muscle is going to insert in the anterior margin of the articular surface. So this is the articular surface, as we all know. This is capsule, this is the disc which forms the TMJ. So the anterior margin of articular surface of mandible, where the upper head of the lateral pterygoid muscle is inserting. And next point is the lower head. Lower head is inserting in the pterygoid fovea of the neck of the mandible. This is the mandible and this is the condylar part. And here is the pterygoid fovea where the lower head of the lateral pterygoid muscle is going to attach. So now let's see it in detail. First is origin. Upper head. Upper head is small, arises from the infratemporal surface and the infratemporal crest of the greater wing of sphenoid bone. Next is lower head. Lower head is larger, arises from the lateral surface of lateral pterygoid plate, and fibers run backwards and laterally and converge for the insertion. So now we'll study about the insertion. Insertion. Upper head, anterior margin of the articular surface of the mandible, and lower head is going to insert in the neck of the mandible, that is pterygoid fovea. Now let's see the nerve supply of the lateral pterygoid muscle. It is supplied by the branch of anterior division of mandibular nerve. Now let's learn the action. It helps in the depression of the mandible, that is it moves the mandible in the downward direction. And one more muscle which depresses the mandible is suprahyoid muscle. Lateral and medial pterygoid protrude the mandible, that is they move the mandible in forward direction. Next point is left lateral pterygoid and right medial pterygoid turn the chin to the left side. So now let's study about the medial pterygoid muscle. Medial pterygoid muscle is quadrilateral in shape and has small superficial and a large deep head. Even medial pterygoid has two heads, superficial head and deep head. In lateral pterygoid, there was upper head and lower head, while in medial pterygoid, it has superficial head and deep head. I'll be inserting diagrams on the screen so that it is easy for you to understand. So let's move on towards the origin. Superficial head is a small slip. It arises from the tuberosity of the maxilla and adjoining bone, while as deep head arises from the medial surface of lateral pterygoid plate and adjoining process of the palatine bone. The fibers run downwards, backwards and laterally. So the insertion is roughened area of the medial surface of angle and adjoining ramus of the mandible, below and behind the mandibular foramen and mylohyoid groove. So now what does this mean? The medial pterygoid muscle is below the mandibular foramen. Mandibular foramen is somewhere here and mylohyoid groove is somewhere here. Okay, so behind the mylohyoid groove and below the mandibular foramen, there lies a medial pterygoid muscle. Let's see the nerve supply. Nerve to the medial pterygoid, branch of main trunk of mandibular nerve. And action. It elevates the mandible, helps to protrude the mandible, and the right medial pterygoid and left lateral pterygoid move the chin to left side. If I have to move my mandible on the left side, so there are two muscles that get activated, that is right medial pterygoid and left lateral pterygoid. So this was all about the muscles of mastication. I hope that's clear. Do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.